Welcome to AFN Radio Refreshers. I'm MC2 Christopher Snyder, aka DJ Chris. Refreshing. Radio skills are like anything else. If you don't use them, you'll lose them. In this video, we'll explore interview basics to prepare your guests for on-air interviews. We'll cover the following topics: help guests relax, mic training, mic preparation, and nonverbal cues. While your studio setup may vary, the core concepts remain the same. When your guests enter the studio, it's super important to ensure... Wait, your guest just entered the studio? What's the first thing you do? You guessed it! Start recording the interview in Audition on your production computer. You want every second of your awesome interview to be recorded in all its glory with clean audio. Being live on the radio can be nerve-wracking for some people. It's up to you as the DJ to make your guests feel at ease while they're in the studio. Otherwise, your guests' nerves could impact the way that they sound, and even what they say during the interview. Pre-interviews and studio visits can relieve a lot of anxiety for guests before the day they go live on air. Check out Module 3.1 for more. Pop culture shows people moving all around microphones with no effect on their sound. That's just not how our system works. Start by showing your guests the pickup bubble your studio microphones use. The goal here is to ensure they understand that if they move their mouth outside that bubble, or they aim their mouth away from directly into the mic, their audio will drop off. Leave room for questions, as this concept will help your guests understand the rest of the mic mechanics. Your biggest ally in helping your guests maintain clean audio is to enforce them wearing headphones. When a guest can hear the sounds they make, or don't make, it helps them police their mic behavior along with you. It also immerses them into the show in a more full way. Have your guests adjust their headphones to be comfortable and show them how to adjust the volume in their headphones. Understanding why you, as the DJ, are concerned with preventing audio goofs can help your guest work and help you to minimize these common errors. Here are some common pitfalls you can help your guest avoid. If your guest is too close to the mic, their sound will be muddy and overmodulated. Being too far away from the mic makes your guest's voice sound tinny and thin. When you have multiple guests in the studio, they want to turn their heads to talk to each other while on air, aiming their mouths away from the mic. When a guest brings materials to help them on air, they often look down, away from the mic. These common guest behaviors make their audio fade in and out for the listener. You can minimize these mistakes by mic training your guest before your interview. Here's a solid strategy. Have your guests place themselves about 6 inches away from the mic, about a fist and a thumb. Ask them to put on headphones and adjust the audio to a comfortable level. Take your guest's mic out of your Channel 1 live output. Since you already started recording in Audition, have your guests say their rank, name, and duty title. Adjust microphone input levels and repeat as necessary until the audio peaks around the appropriate level. If you have multiple guests in your studio, set each guest's microphone one at a time. Once your guest levels are set, pot down and turn off your guest mic. Then place it back in your live output. Keep recording in Audition. This will ensure your entire interview is recorded and give you a formal ID for your guest in any future sound bites. You'll need to do some subtle mic input adjusting when live, but preparing your mics before your interview starts will make it much easier. Find more information on levels in the Audio Levels module. While you're live on air, you need to communicate with your guest without interrupting a live interview to tell them they need to turn their head into the microphone. It's jarring for everyone, especially the listener. Cutting off your guest mid-sentence sounds rude and unprofessional. However, letting them ramble through a break can make listeners tune out of your show. So what should you do? You use nonverbal cues to communicate while live on air. Establish your nonverbal cues before your show begins while you're prepping your guest mics. Take a few minutes to explain your cues so that during your show, your guests will feel comfortable following your lead. And please, let them ask questions and participate in the process. Here are a few hand signals you can use to direct your guests to help them sound their best on air and better adapt to audio changes while live. No matter if a guest has been coming on air for years or it's their first time, guests tend to drift away from the mic during an interview. Though you can compensate by potting the mic up, boosting the mic input gain too much makes your guest's voice sound thin and tinny. Use this hand signal to tell them to lean closer to the mic. When your guest gets too close to the mic, their sound becomes muddy and overmodulated. Use this signal to help them ease back, so their audio is clear on air. This is less common, but it does happen. Explain to your guest that when they turn or lower their head, even slightly, the mic will not pick up their audio. Often when you have multiple guests in an interview, they'll want to talk facing one another, and not the mic. Use this signal to bring your guest back to the mic. You're the director of your interviews, and sometimes you need to redirect the flow of conversation, insert a question or comment, or move forward so your guests can pick up on the conversation. This is a basic hand signal that lets your guests know you will speak in the next pause. This one is a lifesaver. Sometimes guests have a lot to say, like a lot. It's your job as a DJ to keep on-air breaks to a reasonable length, and to break up content into digestible bits. Rather than jarring your guest with a quick wrap-it-up signal, let them budget their time by letting them know how much longer you're giving them to talk. As your break progresses, give your guest a cue for how much time they have left. This prevents them rushing or cutting them off. Trust me on this one. You'll find guests become a lot more efficient on air when they have time guidelines. Wrap it up is the most abused nonverbal signal. DJs often use this signal to tell a guest to stop talking so they can exit a break. That's what it's for, but should be used in conjunction with timing cues to ensure your guests aren't surprised when you use it. Also, be sure your guests understand that it doesn't mean stop talking immediately. You want this signal to cue your guest to finish their sentence and give the conversation back to you, even if they still have a point to make or content to push. Discuss this signal with your guests so they understand you're engaging in clock management and trust you will come back to their content in a later break. Using nonverbal cues will immediately improve your show. Feel free to come up with your own and use what's best for you. After all, it's your show. If you're confident with using nonverbal signals, your guests will be more comfortable following your lead. Get creative, try new things, and most importantly, have fun. Practice makes perfect. Have a great show.